YNW Melly's defense team filed a motion for hearing to determine potential conflict. This motion reveals that the state filed a search warrant for one of Melly's defense lawyers, Raven Liberty's Apple iCloud account. Yes, you heard me correctly. Broward County Sheriff's Office is investigating one of Melly's lawyers, and they have access to everything that was in her Apple iCloud account. Doesn't that seem like it's not fair? I don't know if that just seems like crazy to me, right? I'm gonna read this motion though. Hit subscribe. Here we go, boys. Our first thing we got here is order prohibiting use of Zoom communication technology. On December 5th, 2024, this court conducted a calendar call for State of Florida versus Jamel Demons. Since live in court proceedings resumed in 2021 following the pandemic, this court has used Zoom communication technology on a daily basis to allow attorneys and parties to appear remotely and also to allow the public to observe court proceedings remotely. Okay, so yeah, obviously they still use Zoom in some situations. This court has set up the Zoom communication technology in a manner that allows attorneys and parties in the public who join the Zoom meeting remotely to always see and hear everything that is said. However, the attorneys and parties and the public who are actually present in the courtroom are not able to see or hear anything that is said on the Zoom meeting unless this court activates audio and video equipment in the courtroom 4780. The setup allows the undersigned to activate the Zoom audio and video when an attorney or party appears remotely, but otherwise prevents additional audio and video from being broadcast in the courtroom to maintain the dignity and decorum of all court proceedings. Okay, what's going on here? Why are we fucking putting in shit about a Zoom, dude? On December 5th, 2024, at least 5 participants in the Zoom meeting broadcast inappropriate material, including multiple images of nudity and pornography. No way that happened, bro. So the Zoom got leaked and people went in and blasted porn everywhere. This happened in the YSL trial too. This court notes all of these participants were admitted to the Zoom meeting after identifying themselves as an attorney, party, public observer, or the legitimate participant. These images also included written messages in support of the defendant and written messages requesting to free the defendant. This court notes all the legitimate participants in the Zoom meeting were exposed to the inappropriate material, including multiple images of nudity and porn. This court was forced to halt all court proceedings, and subsequently this court was forced to end the Zoom meeting. This resulted in delaying the completion of the motion calendar docket, and also delaying the continuation of jury selection in an unrelated first-degree murder trial. Jesus, this Zoom hacking delayed the whole court's day, dude. This court is unable to conduct a court proceeding while also monitoring all the participants in the Zoom meeting to make sure inappropriate material is not being displayed. Zoom technology is prohibited and will not be available for use at any future hearing involving the defendant. Well, there you go. I did not expect that when I started reading that, dude. All right, so here's a motion for hearing to determine potential conflict. Yes, very strange. Comes now, defendant by and through undersigned counsel. Moves the court to hold a hearing to determine potential conflict of counsel. The first state attorney, Christine Bradley, withheld information that would bear the veracity and integrity of lead detective Moretti. Due to withholding potential Brady material, the court disqualified Christine Bradley from the case. We all know this. There's new prosecutors on the case for this second YNW Melly trial. Although the defense also requested that the charges be dismissed for prosecutorial misconduct in violation of due process and disqualify the state attorney's office, the court denied both requests. On October 4, 2023, the state filed additional charges, the witness tampering shit. Remember, they're saying Melly apparently slipped a kite under his door to another inmate who then read it on the phone with Bortland, and they say it was coded language to make sure his girlfriend doesn't speak to the police and come testify. Who knows if that's true or not, but it's new charges. On December 18, 2024, attorney for the defendant, Mr. Demons, Raven Liberty, was informed by Apple that on December 13, 2023, her Apple account information had been provided to the Broward Sheriff's Office pursuant to a search warrant. What the fuck did I just read? So literally 2 weeks ago, one of Melly's lawyers, the female one, was informed by Apple that a year prior, her Apple account was provided to BSO for a search warrant. What the fuck are they getting a search warrant for one of his lawyer's phones for? That is literally the craziest shit I've ever heard. Is that allowed? So they must suspect her of doing something illegal then, clearly. But she would have been arrested by now. It's been a year since they did it, right? The extent of what provided and what was revealed is yet unknown to the defense. The basis of this search warrant of Miss Liberty's Apple account is also unknown. Bro, what the fuck is going on in this case, bro? This shit should be over with. Like, now one of his lawyers' Apple account is being searched by BSO. 60% of you aren't subscribed. Come on, hit the subscribe bell. I mean, I know there was that whole thing about the whole Melly wanted to escape and she was going to bring in a handcuffed keys or whatever, but there wasn't really any evidence of that besides someone snitching. Without knowing the extent of the information seized by BSO, counsel for Mr. Demons do not know what confidential communications and trial strategy between the various defense counsel was revealed. Literally what I was thinking, I was like, could they read messages between the lawyers of fucking trial strategy on how they're going to approach the next case? This is bad, right? Literally, the state filed a search warrant on a defense lawyer who's representing someone who's fighting for his life. That's insane. In order for the defendant and counsel to make a proper decision as to conflict and potential waiver of same, the following questions need to be answered. Is the investigation of Miss Liberty ongoing, or has it been concluded? If the investigation of Miss Liberty has been terminated, is there a potential for it to be revived once again at a later date? Pursuant to Rutledge versus State, the court must hold a hearing to determine the above. In addition, the defendant and his attorneys need to know what, if any, confidential communications between defense counsel are currently in the possession of law enforcement and or the state. This is fucked up, right? I'm actually baffled. This doesn't seem fair. So there's a notice of hearing. Honorable Martin Feen on January 6, 2025 at 9 a.m. a hearing for all these motions right here, which is just insane that majority of these motions were filed in April and May of 2024. Like, what the fuck are we doing, bro? When was the last time you needed to go to the doctor, but you pushed it off? You made the excuse that you're too busy or you just don't feel like it. We've all been there, but thanks to ZocDoc, there's no reason to delay it any longer. They make it so easy to find and book a doctor who's right for you. ZocDoc is a free app and website that you can use to find high-quality in-network doctors and click to instantly book an appointment. We're talking about booking in-network appointments with over 100,000 doctors across any specialty. From mental health to dental health, from primary care to urgent care, and more. You can filter for any doctors near you with your insurance, are a good fit for any medical need you have, and are highly rated by their verified patients. Once you find the doctor, you can see their actual appointment slots, choose the time slot that works best for you, and instantly book your appointment. Appointments made through ZocDoc also happen fast, typically within 24 and 72 hours of booking. You can even score same-day appointments, which I have several times. I always hated calling a doctor's office, so this app was amazing for me. I've used it for years. You guys know I was able to book a consultation for my wisdom teeth the same day and had surgery 3 days later. Stop putting off those doctor's appointments and go to ZocDoc.com/cuff to find and instantly book a doctor's appointment today. That's ZocDoc.com/cuff. ZocDoc.com/cuff. State's motion to strike defendant's notice of hearing. The state doesn't want the hearings? What? What is going on? October 15, 2024, status hearing was held in the above styled case. During this hearing, the defense requested dates to have various motions heard. The court obliged, and with the agreement of the parties, the dates January 6th and 7th were settled. At this hearing, the state noted that there were multiple motions filed, and if the particular motions could be specified. Counsel for the defendant, Ms. Liberty, stated that several motions have been mislabeled with either incorrect case numbers or other issues, and she said she would refile those motions. The court then directed Ms. Liberty to file a notice of hearing listing the particular motions to be heard. On December 2nd, 2024, the state verbally requested the defense notice which motions were to be heard on January 6th and 7th. Counsel for the defendant, Ms. Liberty, stated that she had already filed said notice. The state said they haven't received a notice, and if she would please resend it. A review of the clerk's file showed no notice had been filed. So they're saying a month and a half later, Ms. Liberty lied to the court, saying there was a notice filed, but the state saying there wasn't a notice. Okay. 10 days later, the state again requested via email notice as to which motions were to be heard. On December 30th, counsel for defendant Ms. Liberty finally filed the notice of hearing as directed by the court and requested by the state. The state would note the courthouse closure slated for January 1st, 2025, New Year's Day. Finally, of the motions listed in defense notice of hearing, only 3 are listed with the clerk as filed motions 3, 4, and 6. Argument. So here's their argument. Rule 3.060 states a copy of any written notice which may not be heard ex parte and a copy of the notice of hearing thereof shall be served on the adverse party a reasonable time, 4 times specified for the hearing. The state would note that as of the time of the defendant's filing on December 30th was effectively 3 working days prior to the scheduled hearing dates. Okay, so it sounds like the state is bitching about having only 3 days notice on the exact motions that were going to be argued, but these motions were filed 8 months ago. You had 8 months to get this work done, and you never did. I mean, like, what the fuck are we doing here, boys? I don't care if this trial's on hold for appeal. I don't give a shit. How have you not done this yet? This court has repeatedly found that a few days' notice is not fair and reasonable, and they cite some cases. While an exception to this rule exists for emergencies, no emergency exists here. The below-listed assistant state attorneys have numerous cases other than the defendants. Well, you had 8 months. I don't care if you have other cases. You had 8 months. I don't understand, right? Work is prioritized, and therefore response to motions when they have been reasonably scheduled. As the defendant has failed to properly notice these hearings, the state continued work on other matters that had previously been timely noticed and set. Additionally, 2 of the undersigned attorneys, including the lead counsel for the state on this case, were on previously scheduled vacations during the holiday season, as noted by the respective away messages. Therefore, the state asks this court to strike the defense notice of hearing filed December 30th. The defendant is bound by Florida Rule of Criminal Procedure, has failed to provide, despite repeated requests as well as orders from the court, reasonable notice for these hearings on these motions. The defendant should be required to reschedule these motions with proper notice to the court and state so that both court and state may properly prepare and or respond to these motions. This just, honestly, it sounds like they're delaying the trial even more as long as they need to. I mean, I know it's going through appellate courts anyway, but you've had some of these motions since May and April of 2024, and you haven't looked at them and worked on them at all? I'm confused. The real question is, why is his female attorney's Apple account have a search warrant being investigated by BSO when the trial... I feel like this has never happened. This seems like they're crossing a line here. I know it's because they think they probably caught her in something, but it's been a year, right? They would have arrested her by now for something else. They would have put charges on her. They did say something about Melly had girls calling him pretending to be Raven Liberty, his female attorney, because he didn't have any access to calling anybody but his attorneys. But I'm trying to think of what else. Oh, they also alleged that she snuck in pictures for him, I believe. Like nude pictures for Melly into the jail. Someone please comment down below if this is normal for the state to file a search warrant on a defense lawyer in a double murder case with the death penalty on the line. I'm baffled. Hit subscribe, join us in a membership. Love you guys. Peace out.